like my father, I think I'm becoming. I don't know if anybody else thinks that, but it seems like that to me. And the more I find myself to be in agreement with him, the more, I think back to things in which I disagreed with him in earlier days. And I think, Dad was right about that. Now I see why Dad reasoned in that way. Of course, that it had to be that way. And I see more of the world and I get smarter. And thus I agree with my dad more. And the son, does what he sees the father do. For whatever he does, the son also does in like manner. By the way, what if you didn't have a good earthly father? Well, my father didn't have a good earthly father at all. My grandfather, on my father's side, was just about as bad as one could be. He was a drunk. He did time in the big house, the state penitentiary. When he got out, presumably hadn't had any alcohol for several years. First thing he did was find some alcohol and get drunk. He was only mean when he was drunk, which was pretty much all the time. He was just cruel, and one day he took his .22 and he shot the feet off my grandmother's chickens. And he just went out to the chicken yard and shot. He was a pretty good shot apparently to hit the chicken's feet with his .22. But he did. But of course, there were all her chickens and they couldn't walk and they were all flopping around. Those were her laying hens. And they were real poor because that was another thing Grandpa didn't do very much with.